In this Parashat Naso, we find one of the most beautiful passages that we recite in our prayers in the synagogue, and that is the blessing of the Kohanim, the priestly blessing. The Torah says, "Speak to Aaron and his children and say to them, thus shall you bless the children of Israel." Say to them, "Yivrechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha." May Hashem bless you and guard you. Yair Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka. May Hashem illuminate His countenance for you and be gracious to you. May Hashem lift His countenance to you and establish peace for you. The Birkat Kohanim is recited by the priests. It was recited every morning, in every service, in every day of the year, from Yom Kippur, every day. The Kohanim lifted their hands, and they usually cover their faces, and they bless the people that way. Now, I want to point out a little bit some of the ideas of this. Today, incidentally, you should know that the priests actually do bless the people every day in every part in the Sephardic world. Ashkenazi tradition only has the priestly benediction on the holidays. And during the week, we simply recite them as if this is what we would have done if we allow the Kohanim to do this priestly blessing. They will come up to the stage facing the people and they will bless us. The reason the Ashkenazi tradition does not have the priestly blessing every day is that part of the priestly blessing has to be done with joy. A blessing has to be generous, with good heart. A person who is a little depressed or sad should not bless the people because the blessing doesn't come out. It's like you're putting a light with a cloud in front. So if a person has a cloud of depression, he shouldn't go and bless the people. The Ashkenazi, who had suffered so much during the Crusades and later years, felt that their communities, on a daily basis, the Kohanim were not really ready to the level of blessing the people with joy. And so therefore they discontinued it. And they only did it on the holidays when people were probably able to be happy. Sephardim never had that problem, either because they didn't have so much persecutions or because they didn't have that principle. So Sephardim, all and every Sephardic synagogue, you will see the Kohanim going up to the stage, face the people, and bless them with these words. In Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, even the Ashkenazic synagogues adopted the custom of blessing every day, partly because, as you know, the Ashkenazi community came to the land of Israel a little later than the Sephardic community that had been there for many generations. And when they came in, of course, they adopted the custom of Sephardim. So in most of Israel, you will see the priestly benediction every morning as well. Now, I want to point out quickly some of the words before we go into the most important one, which is the word shalom at the end. Yivrecha Hashem means Hashem should bless you. That means that God should give you more than what you have now. Should bless you with children, should bless you with money, should bless you with happiness. So bless you means to give you something. V'yishmerecha means Hashem will guard it. Especially if you have something that you attain, like make money, you should also keep it. The people should not steal from you, or the people envious will not try to cast a curse on you. God will protect you so that whatever God gives you also will be protected. Then illuminate the countenance upon you means that you should feel that Hashem is next to you, that you should feel in some way a connection with Hashem, and that illuminating your face. And then it says, give you grace. And the concept of grace is a beautiful concept. It means that you are likable. A person is good to a person is likable. Usually a person is not liked when he doesn't act well, when he doesn't behave well. A person miserly, cursing around, and so on. Nobody wants to be around them. So what is a blessing? That people should like you. That you should be of such a personality that people are attracted to you. That's called chen. Chen. It's a beautiful word. And finally, it says that Hashem should, again, illuminate his face and give you peace. So I want to point out that the whole blessing rests on this word, shalom. Because ultimately, what we want is to be able to be serene. When we wake up in the morning, imagine a person is with a lot of anxiety, cannot sleep at night, or gets up in the morning and is afraid. Maybe he's fighting with people, or maybe there's a fighting inside of himself. What we want, the ideal, is to be able to find shalom. And that's why the world too. The world does not function when there's division, does not function well. The rabbis say that we need to have peace, not only within ourselves, in our families, and in the world. The rabbi said something very beautiful. The world is standing because of people who want peace. Because otherwise, if people, who want to fight, the world will be destroyed. So the purpose of creation is to be able to bring peace in the world. The problem is that human beings are imperfect. And so here we come to an interesting point. In all the mitzvot in the Torah, it says that if you come to this situation, you have to do this and that. If you find a poor person, you have to go and give him money. If you're in a place where you have to eat a certain food, you have to certain bracha. So it always is conditional on finding that particular situation. Only in this law of shalom, the Torah goes out of its way. Judaism is out of its way. It says bakesh shalom, not make peace when you can do it. You have to try to seek peace. Go out, create peace wherever there's no peace. Create peace between a husband and a wife. Very beautiful idea. Don't contribute to divisions in your community. Don't allow yourself to be this party or that party. Very often in communities, you see that people align themselves with this group or that group. Try to be unified, to be together. The rabbis are so praising of peace, but they point out one of the other laws in this parsha is the law of the sota. The sota concerns a woman whose husband is jealous, and he warned her not to be alone with a certain individual. She's afraid of what's going to happen. She disregards and meets with this man that the husband doesn't want to, alone in a room with nobody there. The husband now is going crazy. He wants to divorce his wife. He tells her, you're unfaithful, etc. She says, no, it's not true. I didn't do anything. So the Torah says, in that case, the woman has to go to the temple, and in the temple there will be a special ceremony conducted by the priests. Part of the ceremony is going to be that she's going to be given to drink a certain water, and in the water they're going to put the name of God in one verse. It says God will, if you are innocent, you're going to be blessed by drinking this water. And so they put the name of God in the verse. They write it and they put it in the water, and the water dissolves the name of God. Now we know that erasing God's name is a grave sin. We're not allowed to erase God's name. In fact, that's one of the reasons why if you have a piece of a Bible in Hebrew, you're not allowed to destroy it. You have to bury it, to treat it respectfully if it has the name of a Hashem in them. It's called Shemot, or in Yiddish, Shemos. When you have any part of a Siddur, a Bible, anything sacred that may contain the name of God in a verse, you need to take it, bring it to a synagogue, or give it to a person that will actually bury it in the ground in a respectful way, not throw it in the garbage. So to erase God's name is a very great sin. In fact, in many places, when a Siddur or a book of the Torah is no longer usable, also it is buried. In some places, they used to have a room in the back of the synagogue where they put all the old books. One of these places is the Gediza of Cairo. In the early part, 5th century, 6th century, people started to put old books and manuscripts in that little storage room. Fortunately, because Cairo, the weather is perfect, in the sense that the temperature, humidity, allows the paper, the papyrus, or any form to remain intact. At the beginning of the 20th century, a scholar from England was able to go into the synagogue, and there he found manuscripts and things that have been written 1,000 years before. It's called the Geniza, the storehouse. So imagine what the scholars, how happy they were. So anyway, let me talk about the importance of keeping the name of God intact. Here, in the Sermon of the Sotah, we break it. Why? It's so important to bring peace to the husband and the wife. God says, even my name you can erase. How much more you have to do to bring peace? In fact, the rabbis we say in the morning, one of the things that you're going to get a great reward for is to bring peace between a husband and a wife. So this is the important. So we have to appreciate the importance of peace in a husband and a wife, peace in cities. And so there's another interesting halakha. It says, we have to light candles on Shabbat. We also have to light candles on Hanukkah. The rabbis debate an interesting question. If a person is poor and cannot afford both, which candle should he do? The Shabbat or the Hanukkah? Now, the Hanukkah, lighting of the Hanukkah candle is a mitzvah. It's an important mitzvah. We're celebrating, commemorating a great miracle. The candle of Shabbat is really, in a sense, optional. Although the rabbis say that we need to do it, it's only done in order to promote so that the house should be illuminated. Because if the house is dark, we see now with the demonstrators, when darkness comes in, a lot of terrible things happen. So the house is dark, maybe a husband and a wife will start fighting, or one will trip over the other, or whatever. So the candle of Shabbat is intended to create happiness in the family. So you have here the happiness in the family on the one side by lighting the candle of Shabbat, or lighting the candle of Hanukkah, which is a communal obligation, and everybody has to do it. And everybody has to announce the miracle. Now, the two, which one would you think is more important? Of course, Hanukkah is more important. Hanukkah is public. It's commemoration of a miracle that happened to the Jewish people. It should be much more important than a lighting. So you can eat one day without a candle. No. The halakha is light the Shabbat candle. You miss Hanukkah. It's okay, because peace at home is more important. We have an important principle called Lotis Godedu, that we are not allowed to create separations. We have, for example, in the synagogue, on the holidays, the Chol HaMoed, intermediate days of Pesach, the intermediate days of Sukkot, called Chol HaMoed, it's customary not to put on tefillin. There's a custom. Some people put on tefillin and some people don't put on tefillin. So the rabbis say a synagogue should adopt one custom. It's not good that some people put tefillin, some people don't put on tefillin. This is not good. We don't want to have the what is it called? The Capulets and Montague, right? We don't want to have parties. Lotis Godedu, do not make little groupings. And many synagogues, unfortunately, we have that. The rich and the poor. In some places, there's those who are Ashkenazi, Sephardi, or Hungarians versus Polish, whatever. The Torah says, obligated, do not make little grouping. Universal peace itself is something that's going to come because Hashem brings it. We have to do our part to bring as much peace as we can in our world. And what is essentially peace? Peace is the harmony, the bringing together of the opposite of peace is separation. That's what the word Yerushalayim, the word Yerushalem means Ir Shalem. Shalem means complete. The word Shalom, peace, and complete are the same word. Because how do you attain peace? By bringing the pieces together and putting it again together. Discord is the result of separation. When people take sides, one on one side and one on the other. So, Yor Chaim says, a beautiful word. It says, it says, God should illuminate you. He says that if your actions, sinful, erroneous, if your own actions create a barrier between you and Hashem, then Hashem will give you the peace of bringing you together, of combining together. And I want to end with an interesting story on the importance of peace. You know, in the Talmud, there is a story of a rabbi who goes to an inn with his students. In the inn, he is greeted by the innkeeper, a woman who takes care of them and does a lot of very kind things to the whole group. At the end of the day, as they are about to leave, the rabbi says to the woman, oh, you know, you're a very beautiful woman. The student says to the rabbi, why you say it's beautiful? She has ugly eyes. The rabbi said, what? You think that I was talking about her physical beauty? What kind of a bad person are you? What kind of a horrible human being? Get away from here. You know what a person is according to the Talmud? Jesus of Nazareth. Yeshua Notzri. The Bible, the Talmud in Sota tells us the story. And what happened? The Talmud tells the story. The student, Jesus, was very upset, came back to ask for forgiveness, apologized to the rabbi. And the rabbi said, no, I'm not accepting the apology. And he came back a few days later. And again, he said to the rabbi, please forgive me. And the rabbi said, no, I will not. And he came back 3 and 4 times. In the end, when he saw there was no solution, he left Judaism and formed his own religion. That's the story of the Talmud. The rabbi said, from here you learn, the rabbis say, not to be so harsh. Even when you criticize somebody when it's necessary, push them with your left hand, which is weaker, but bring them closer with your right hand, which is stronger. Which means that even though in some cases you have to go out to criticize, even to punish and discipline a student, a friend, a child, always do it in that fashion. Discipline with your left, but love them and bring them closer with your right. So in all situations, we have to find the blessing of peace. And in the end of days, when there will be Mashiach, the Messianic time is going to be a time of all peace and harmony, when all the pieces will come together. The rabbis say something amazing, that when there is discord in the world, when there is war in the world, and people have different views, it's almost as if Hashem himself is separated. And that's what the prophet says. On that day, when everybody will be together, God will be one, and his name one. So the ultimate redemption of the world is when everything will come together, including God's name, into one piece. And with this is the blessing of the Yom Shalom. And we say every ending of the Amida, Ose Shalom B'Bramav, he who makes peace in the celestial spheres, may he make peace among us and among all Israel. And let us say Amen. What a beautiful, beautiful word. Say Shalom B'Bramav, we say Shalom, Aleinu V'Kol Israel B'Mru Amen. I once asked one of my teachers, why does it say may he make peace among us and all Israel? Why doesn't it say the whole world? And he answered me with a very beautiful way, something that I never forgot. He said, when there is peace for the Jews, there is always peace in the world. When there is no peace for Israel, the world will be at war as well. So when we wish peace in Israel, we're really wishing a universal peace. And that is the beautiful lesson of the Birkat Kohanim, of the priestly benediction, that ends with the word shalom. And that word remains standing, floating in the air as they leave.